I know this seems a little crazy, but that's how God moves sometimes. But I feel impressed by the Spirit to tell you that there is a cost to following Jesus. There is a cost to following Jesus. Thankfully, it's just everything. And I laugh because it really is. Thankfully, it's everything. It's everything. But I can't cheapen the gospel for you and say, just talk about Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. It's good and it's important, but it costs something to follow him. And I think that's the heart that Bella has been catching over these weeks, saying that there's a call to surrender in the room. And thankfully it costs everything, because that means he takes the good and the bad from you. Thankfully it costs everything. That means we get to lose ourselves and just be with him. That means we can just submit to him. The decisions are easier. Thankfully it costs everything. That means the addiction you're holding on to, he can take that too. That means the sin you're holding on to, he can take that too. Thankfully, it costs everything. So I hear God telling you to count the cost. Count the cost and come. Count the cost and come to him. Because he's so worth it. He's so worth giving everything to. And we get the better end of the deal. Although we give up everything, we get the better end of the deal. He clothes us in his righteousness. He covers us with his blood so that when we stand before Christ, he doesn't see us. He sees his son. We get the better part of the deal, guys. We get the better part. We get the better part. He clothes us in his righteousness. And yes, it costs everything. But that's why the psalmist can write his joy and a delight. My joy is to give it all to you. My joy is to give it all to you. So we're going to sing it again. And we're going to ask for more of Jesus. We're going to ask that he makes him our one thing. That he becomes our one thing, and that we become willing to give up everything. That we become willing to give up everything.
You give you our everything. Just give me Jesus. Just give me Jesus. Just give me Jesus. You can have everything else. Just give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus.
So Jesus, we give you everything. And I know that even as I say that, there may be things that I don't even know I'm holding on to still. But I give you everything. Teach us how to let go. Show us how to let go of this world, of ourselves, and seek you. Show us how to be honest with you. Show us how to give you everything. Make us want to give you everything. Make everything else seem so much less than you that we don't want it. We want you. That we would give up everything for you. Teach us. Humble us so that we can see where you're directing us. Humble us. Soften our hearts. God, soften our hearts. Don't let us become calloused and stubborn, plugging our ears because it's, no, not that thing, Jesus. I'm not ready for that thing yet. Soften our hearts. Make our hearts soft to you and to your touch. That you would be the one thing we cling to, because you said if we remain in you, we cling to you, we abide in you, then you will abide in us. You will cling to us. Get rid of the parts of us, prune off the things of us that aren't willing to let go, that aren't willing to say, you are our only source, you are our one thing. And if we're not there, if our hearts can't join in with this prayer, I understand. I was there once too. When I heard people say, walk me through like people sing, you're a fire, a refiner, I want to be consumed. I remember thinking, no, I don't. It's okay if you're not there yet. If your heart isn't stirred to this prayer, just be honest. Come to the Lord and say, God, I don't want to be consumed. I don't want to burn. I don't want to be refined. I don't want to be purified, but I know that I want you more. He can change our desires. He can change the things we hold to. He softens our heart. We can't do it. He softens our heart. So we give you access, Lord, wherever we are in our journey. And we say, God, come have your way. Make our heart, make our life moldable to you. May we find you. May we find you. May Wednesday nights, may Sunday mornings just be the beginning, the floor. May this be our floor. When we spend time with you alone at home reading our Bible, may we experience you closer than we do today. May this just keep growing. Teach us how to remain in you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, if you want to go give 5 people some tissues. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Go give 5 people a high five or something, and then come back to your seat. I don't need tissues. Oh, I see. The Cubs didn't agree. The Cubs didn't agree. How many of you are Cubs fans in here? Boo! I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's just one of you? Yankees. Good luck, Christian. I'm just going to say. Good luck. All right, guys, come find a spot. I got some announcements, and then we'll get going. One announcement is Youth Convention. There's a slide for that. Today is the last day to sign up. We haven't had much interest, and I have got to start making other plans. So if you are interested, sign up. Let me know by signing up. Let me know by signing up. All right. That's October 24th through the 26th. Hey, stop grabbing snacks. Come sit down. Announcements are important. What are you doing? You got to grab snacks before service, not in the middle of service. No, they brought their own snacks, okay? Just like Bella. All right, next announcement is Thrive. Hey, if you're wanting to go to Thrive, you got to sign up soon too, because spots are filling up, and I'm gonna try my best to accommodate everyone. However, the later you wait, I can't say, you can't wait till 2 weeks before and be like, can I still go? Like, no, probably not. Like, you got to sign up right now, okay? There are 12, but I'm working to try to ensure that I can get some more spots for you guys, but it's really limited. I was expecting half of you to go to Youth Convention, and you're not. So you got to help me out by signing up early so I can make sure to do my best to accommodate you. If you wait till October 22nd, I'm sorry. It's probably not going to work. I can almost 100% guarantee. Yes, sir. The deadline for Thrive, I sent it in an email. Do I remember it? Of course not. And I don't want to say the wrong deadline. The youth convention is tonight. Youth convention is tonight. The deadline for youth convention is tonight. The deadline for Thrive is probably, I believe October 19th is the deadline to get any financial assistance information into me. So I would say the 22nd. The 22nd or the 20th. No, I think the 22nd. The 22nd, Britton, the 22nd is your deadline. Yeah, you are. And the next announcement is, that's right, get out your flannels, get out your fall attire, because we will have a bonfire Friday, October 17th, right before the financial assistance deadline for Thrive. October 17th. I will have on Wednesday, I will have the address for you. But if you need to, get out your phone and text your adults and say, bonfire, October 17th. Details to come. You can do that right now. Yes, Chris. Yes, it's located at someone's house. I will get you the address next week, Wednesday. You'll have a whole card. I'll give it to you, and you can take it home. But just remember, October 17th. Yeah? No. Okay. That was you. Yeah. No? Okay. I'm waiting on some people. They all went to the bathroom? That's questionable. No, it's not. Group bathroom. October 17th is a bonfire. Wear your flannel. Flannel on flannel on flannel, am I right? You need at least 3 layers of flannel or you will be sent home. I'm just kidding. That will not happen. Huh? It's not going to be cold? It's going to be cold. Hey, I can almost guarantee as long as there isn't as much rain as last time, there will be less mosquitoes, right? Yeah, there's significantly less mosquitoes this time. Significantly less. I can confirm. People are confirming. Yes, sir. Yes, there will be snacks at the bonfire. Yeah, there'll be snacks. There'll be good snacks. No, you don't. Nope. All right, y'all, we are talking about... All right, let me try it again. No, I was going to do the thing we talked about before when no one else was in here, and I was like, 6. But you're supposed to be quiet after that. It was going to be a whole thing. I was filling time because everyone was not here yet. No. All right. Take a seat. Buckle up. Here we go. We've been talking about godly living. We've been talking about godly living. The first week we talked about God is holy. And we need to know that before we talk about holy living, godly living, because we need to know why. The next week we talked about worship and how we get close to God and He changes our behavior. We don't try to leverage our behavior to get close to God. And then we talked about how the focus, when we're talking about godly living, it's so easy to make the focus on the things that we're doing, the outward. But the focus needs to be on the inside. How God is changing your heart. How God is changing your mind. How God is changing your thoughts. How God is changing the inside, because that will bleed out and overflow. I should have said overflow. Overflow to the outside. And then we talked about one thing that we can do to live godly life is to serve the church. And last week I had you turn to your friend or your neighbor and say one thing you've done to serve the church. We're not going to do it again. But I do want that question to keep coming up. So we're going to take 30 seconds to think. And remember, think means in my head. What have you done this week to serve the church? It's in your head. Like, there's no right or wrong answers here. If you have a question, ask God, hey, God, did this count? And He can tell you yes or no. Oh, I don't know. Psst. The next thing we talked about was last week, is when Paul starts a list and he starts listing out things that we can do. Last week we talked about loving sincerely and hating what is evil. This week, I want to talk to you today. My sermon is called A Distinguishing Mark. A distinguishing mark. Distinguishing, you can sound that one out. Distinguishing mark. You're hysterical. All right, we're going to start reading actually not from Romans 12. We will get there. But we're going to start in 1 John chapter 1. 1 John. It's at the very end of the New Testament. If you're flipping there in an actual Bible, which I would recommend, it's Revelations, Jude, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John. So, start at the back of your Bible and work inward. That you'll find it quicker. 1 John, chapter 1, verse 3 says this. John says, "What we have seen and heard, we also proclaim to you, so that you too may have fellowship with us. And indeed, our fellowship, which is a distinguishing mark of born-again believers, is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ." Let's talk about this for a second. You see, John is a disciple of Jesus, and he is writing a letter to a church, or to a person, to a church. And he's talking about, hey, these are the things I'm writing to you about, I've actually seen. I've actually heard. I actually walked it out. I'm an eyewitness, along with the other apostles. We have actually seen these things take place. And so what we've seen, we are proclaiming to you. Why are they proclaiming to them? So that they may have fellowship. And fellowship is a distinguishing mark of believers. A distinguishing mark sets you apart. It is something that is noticeable. Fellowship with believers should look and set us apart from the world. The fellowship with believers should set us apart from the world. That's what he's saying here. And the fellowship with the Father and the Son, Jesus Christ. And we see two ways to show fellowship in Romans chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Give preference to one another in honor." So both of those things talk about the fellowship with believers. To be devoted to one another in brotherly love or affection, some translations say, and to give preference to one another in honor. And this message caused me to think back over my life. When God has moved in my life, I didn't realize something. Because they were deeply personal, so I thought it was just me. They were deeply personal. I remember a time when God called me into ministry. He said, "You're going to minister to children." That was the call he put on my life. And I remember I was at camp. I was in 5th grade. There was an altar call, but I didn't feel like I wanted to respond to the altar call, but I still wanted to seek Jesus. So I was in the back corner just worshiping, and he said, you're going to minister to children. And I was like, okay, cool. I was just worshiping you, but fine, okay. And then I continued to worship him, right? And it was great. And I thought that was a deeply personal moment, and it was a deeply impactful moment. And some of you have also received a call like that. And then I look back, and I realized that my 5th grade year in church looked different. I was taking a leadership role. I was doing more, and I was loving it. I was enjoying fellowshipping with the church. I did more. I was around more people. I was in deeper fellowship. I'm not saying go do more at church. Remember, we don't do things to get close to God. We get close to God, and then we do things. So this fellowship aspect impacted me. And as I began to go through these marking moments in my life spiritually, I looked back and I saw, oh, Well, that happened about a year or 2 years after I started serving the church more, after I started getting plugged in at church more, after I started actually fellowshipping with believers and not just the 3 friends I had in youth group. I actually started fellowshipping with everyone, and I wanted everyone to feel included. It was a difference. And fellowship, I didn't realize it was a factor. It should be a distinguishing mark. Not the distinguishing mark, but one of them. And let's go back to 1 John chapter 1. I'm going to read some more. We're going to read 1 John chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. This is the message. So remember, John is a witness, and he's saying, I was literally there. I literally heard these things and saw these things, and now I'm telling them to you. Here's the message, he says. This is the message which we have heard from him, and we now announce to you. Him meaning Jesus. Like, we heard this message from Jesus. We're giving it to you, okay? That God is light. And in him there is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and yet walk in the darkness, we lie and don't practice the truth. But if we really walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus, his son, cleanses us from all sin. That was 1 John chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. So if we are walking in the light, if we are walking a godly life, it says, if you do that, then this happens. If you are really walking in the light, then 2 things happen. You have fellowship with believers. And number 2, you are purified from sin. He later goes on to say that also if you claim that you don't have sin, you're lying. So there's our purifying, I'm just trying to remind you that there is an immediate, I am purified from sin. I stand before God covered in the blood of Jesus so he can only see God and not me, right? Like we talked about in worship. That's justification. Sanctification is our daily commitment, our devotion to God and turning away from evil. And it's a daily thing, okay? So John is reminding you, hey, just because you are made clean when you're walking in the light, you got to be careful still. Don't claim that you don't have sin. We're going to still sin. We're going to still mess up, right? Okay. Now, we want to be devoted to one another in brotherly love. That's what fellowship with believers looks like, and giving one another preference. And when I think about being devoted, here's what I want you to think about. Being devoted means we're going to actively resist the pull. I'm going to explain a little bit more later. Being devoted means we are going to actively resist the pull. Okay? Being devoted means we're going to actively resist the pull. My grandparents live up in the UP. That's the Upper Peninsula for those of you who don't know what that means. It's the little thing of Michigan that really should be part of Wisconsin, but it's somehow part of Michigan. You know what I'm talking about. It really should be Wisconsin, but it's Michigan. Because it's connected to us. It's not, anyways, okay. We don't have to go there. This is not where we're going. Okay, and they lived up there. Okay, so I grew up going to visit them, and we would spend the weekend, and they lived on a river. And I have been in other rivers, but this is the river that comes to mind, okay? It's a nice flowing river. It's actually got a pretty good current. And I remember in the summer I would watch as tubers would come down. Now, tubers, have you ever seen, and I'm not talking about being pulled by a boat tubing. I'm talking about the kind where you're in an inner tube and your feet are up and you're just letting the river take you. Do you know what I'm talking about? It is I feel like that's a uniquely Midwestern thing. I don't know if other people do it, but it just sounds like something someone from Wisconsin, Michigan would do. Okay? Because most people would want to have control. But no, when you're in a tube in a river, you're just, and you're praying, I'm praying, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm praying this river does not lead me to a tree or to a spider web that I get in my face. because you don't have control. You're just going with the current. There's no resistance. You're just floating, okay? And I remember this lake, it's not a lake, it's a river. This river is not very deep, but it has a very strong current. And so I remember as a kid, it would come up maybe to my shins. So it's about 2 feet deep. It's not that deep, okay? And I remember walking. And how many of you have ever walked in a river with a nice current with flip-flops? Okay, now this river isn't muddy. It's got a rock bottom, okay? It's a rock bottom river, okay? And you've got flip-flops. And when you pick up your foot, even before you pick up your foot, I just want you to imagine standing there and feeling the pull of the river around your shins. You're feeling the pull of the river around your shins. And then you've got a flip-flop, okay? So you've got to be intentional. And if you slip, you're going to cut millions of things open because it's rocks, okay? And so you're carefully, and you have to resist the pull of the river the whole way. Otherwise, one of two things will happen. Your flip-flop will be floating down the river, and you've got the weird river run. You know the weird river run, okay? And you're just trying to go get it, okay? So that's so that's one thing that can happen. Or you're stepping and you're so careful, but you're not enough, and your foot just gets dragged back with the river, and you end up falling. And then cutting your knee or your hand or whatever, okay? So those are the two things that can happen. No, I wore flip-flops. Crocs weren't a thing. No. We're not going to get into it. So what I'm telling you is when Paul writes, be devoted to one another, he's telling you, resist the pull. Resist the pull when in community. Here's what I mean by that. As I say resist the pull, I want you to imagine what you have to do, not on an inner tube. That's letting it go. That's not resisting the pull at all. And you have no control, no steering. You don't know where you're going, okay? I want you to think of walking in a river, resisting the pull every step. There's a current fighting you back, okay? And that current is most likely our flesh, ourself. That current that pulls us back from community is most likely ourself. Most likely. And it's always there. I've been noticing it more and more. The Lord's been teaching me about fellowship with his believers for more than just this week. It's been years. And the more he's teaching me, the more I realize that there is a resistance to every move I make as I try to gain fellowship, learn how to love believers. So when you are in community, in this church, can I just say, when I'm saying this church right now, I mean this youth group, okay? Because this is like a little sub-church of the big Poplar church. Yeah, it's my church. It's your church. This is the church I'm talking about. So I want you to be focused here because this is our training ground, okay? And I'm not saying go out and do all of these things with all the adults that you don't know and your parents don't know. That's not how we do it, okay? I'm saying for this group right here, this church, okay? All right. Just get started. All right, here's what actively resisting the pull looks like. Here's what being devoted looks like. Number one, you need to resist responding in pride. You need to, in community, in fellowship with believers, you have to resist. The default mode, the current is going to push you towards pride. It's going to push you to retreat. It's going to push you away. If you've watched people on inner tubes on a river, if they're not holding on to each other, they are drifting apart. Until one of them stops, they resist the current and waits for the other to catch up. This is what our life in church, in fellowship should look like. Resist responding in pride, which means a lot of things. But that means we should resist the pull to try to get ourselves together first. We should resist the pull to try to keep things to ourselves. We should resist the pull of our best friend only hanging out with us because they're our best friend. We should resist the pull and allow them to hang out with others. Allow them to be close to others, knowing that that has nothing to do with your friendship with them. It means resisting the pull of pride means I'm not going to keep score. It may be the 27th time I've reached out to this person. I may always have to go up and say hello, but I'm not going to keep score because I have to resist the urge to pull back. I have to resist. And in a river like that, you can quickly move away, right? So we need to resist the pull to keep score. We need to keep initiating. We cannot be drawing back. We have to resist that because it's the natural tendency for us when we're hurt, when something's happening. We want to draw back. It's pride. It's okay. But we need to resist it, okay? The second thing we need to resist when we're being devoted to one another, we need to resist the pull of gossip. That's a big one. You need to resist the pull of gossip. I don't know anything. There is very few things in this world that will pull my attention to you than if you sit down next to me and say, I got some tea. Let me tell you, my whole attention will be pulled over to you because we want to know. I know I'm not the only one. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what other people are doing. We want to know what they're talking about. We want the tea, okay? You have to, in order to live in fellowship, you have to resist that pull. I'm not saying don't ever talk to anyone about what's going on. I'm saying take a breath. That's what I've been learning. Take a breath and ask, Lord, do I want this tea because I'm just nosy? Or do I want to know for something else? Is this a conversation I should enter in? Just let me take a breath, okay? Let me take a breath. Okay? I've also had to, when you're resisting the pull of gossip, you also have to resist that pull to keep asking questions. Like, you know that some tea's going on, right? And they're not willing to share yet, so you're going to sit next to them and you're going to say, so-and-so. Right? You know what I'm talking about. You have to resist that pull. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying before you do that, pause. And it's actually okay to say, hey, I've seen this going on, but I've been working on gossip. So if you could pray about it and I could pray about it for a second, I've seen this going on in your life. I'm your friend. I want to care about you, but I want to make sure it's not gossip. Could we just pause for a minute and pray about it? Could we just, before we share this, could we just pause and pray? Just take a pause. It's not like you can't keep moving when the river is there, right? You just have to resist. You have to resist. Okay? All right. You have to resist the pull of, this is good. You have to resist the pull to get people on your side. You know what I'm talking about. There's a conflict. You have to resist the pull to go to everyone else and say, this person did this to me. What do you think? Come get on my side, right? You got to resist that pull. Yes? I'm so sorry. So you're saying, like, yes, the opposite of what I'm saying, like, is happening. So I said you have to resist getting people on your side. So someone comes up to you trying to get you on their side. I mean, that's mostly the point. You have to resist trying to get people on their side, on your side. So what if someone comes up to you and is trying to get you on their side? How do you respond to that? Because they're asking you a genuine question. I hear you. One let's see if this is where you're going. One thing I've learned to say is that's not my story to tell. If it happened to you and someone else is asking. Oh, a third person, a third party. Yeah, I would, that's a good, so like in the middle of a conflict, or is the conflict resolved? The main event has already happened. Have you talked to the other person yet? I would say you got to resist that pretty strongly to include another person. We're going to get to that, but okay. We'll keep going. Talk to me later if it's still a question. All right, you also have to resist the pull to only associate with certain people. This is a big one for me. If you want to live in fellowship with believers, you got to resist the pull. I'm not saying don't ever talk to your friends. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to resist the pull. I think we can get into patterns in fellowshipping with believers where we keep going to the same 3 people. And that's okay, but you have to resist some of that pull and continue to fellowship with the whole body. It's the whole body together, okay? You have to resist it. That doesn't mean you already know, okay? You just have to resist. Pray about it, okay? If you've got questions, pray about it, okay? You also have to resist the pull to ignore what should be addressed. It's so much easier to back away when conflicts are happening and ignore it. Some things actually do need to be ignored. That's okay. Some things might need to be addressed. And the easier way is for you to just, it's fine. But you have to resist the pull sometimes to ignore what should be addressed. So, there are times when we're going to live in fellowship with other people. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. There's going to be a moment where we have to talk to this person, okay? They have hurt us. Something has happened. They've betrayed us. There's been a lack of trust. Something has happened, okay, that we need to address, okay? Ignoring that is not resisting the pull, okay? It's actually going to pull you away from fellowship. So the first thing you need to do is calm down. I know that seems like a lot, but you cannot be going to that person with that wound still freshly and you aggravated. You can't go up all angry, okay? You have to calm down first, okay? And then you do have to talk to the person who hurt you eventually, alone, not bringing other people into your side. But here's what you can do. Remember how I talked about this church right here, this youth group? Okay, our little sub-church, okay? This is where we practice. This is the practicing ground, okay? So when I say going alone, I mean this is happening peer-to-peer. That means your age around your age, okay? This is a peer-to-peer conflict, okay? This is not a high school senior conflicting with a 6th grader. Hopefully that never happens. But if that is happening, it should not be you two resolving that on your own. That doesn't make sense, okay? And this is a training ground. So yes, if you have a question, come talk to a leader. Come ask, hey, is this something I should ignore or is this something that I should address? How would you recommend I proceed? Here's what's happening. Okay, when you're talking to a leader, you're not doing it just to share tea. You're doing it because you need help, some advice. That's not gossip, okay? That is you using your resources. And so we're here to help you through that. We're here to help you through those mistakes. You don't have to do them alone. If you have questions, come talk to us. Hey, this thing happened. It feels small, but I want to make sure I'm not just pulling away, just ignoring it, when it might be something that needs to be addressed, okay? Or it might be, hey, I need to address this in this person. How do I do that? And we can talk to you about the individual things and how to do that, okay? So when I say alone, I mean you can still talk to a youth leader. You can still talk to us. You can still let us know. That's not, we're learning how to do that here. We're all learning, okay? So we're going to allow that. Yes, Avery. That's a great question. We're talking about a distinguishing mark of believers is fellowshipping with believers, being devoted to our church, one another, each other, and giving each other preference. So at your school, possibly, because they were part of the church, but not at all schools, if that makes sense. Yeah, okay. All right. So if you have a question and you've had an issue and you want to know, am I going to walk forward in fellowship with this, or is this actually hurtful? Come talk to us, and we would love to walk you through that process. You don't have to do it alone, okay? That is actually wise for you to come talk to us and get us involved, okay? So I'm ending again with an honest question for your internal life. Because remember, when we talk about living holy, it's easy to just do actions, but that's never the point. The point has always been to have a changed inner life. So, my question to you is not, how can you solve a conflict today? My question to you is reflective and prayerful. And it's something that you need to answer honestly. Do I have fellowship with the whole church? And remember, when I'm talking about church, for you students, I'm talking about this room and those who are gone. Do I have fellowship with the whole church? When I'm talking to you adults, I do actually mean the whole church. Yeah. I do actually mean the whole church. And it's a question that you need to reflect on, to pray through. If the answer is no, you can pray to get to the point where God changes your heart and your desire to have fellowship with the whole church. If your answer is yes, you have fellowship with the whole church, great. You can pray that it stays. Ask God to keep you here. Ask God to keep you in fellowship. Okay? I'm going to pray. Feel free to come up and respond as the Lord leads you. Jesus, thank you for fellowship. Thank you for reminding us of its importance. I think in my own life, I never thought it was important to have fellowship with the whole church. So thank you for reminding me that it is the whole church, your whole body. That we need to learn how to have fellowship with people who agree with us and with people who disagree with us. So Lord, I put myself in your hands. I put this church in your hands. I say, God, teach us how to have fellowship with one another again. True fellowship with every side, with every person. Help us to be devoted to it. Help us to resist the pull that would drag us away to go off by ourselves. Help us to love you and love your church. In Jesus' name, amen. That is it for today. If you're responding or wanting to respond, please be respectful and come respond. If you are done, please be respectful of those responding, but you are free to go when you're ready.
If the altar's where you meet us, take me there. What you need is just an offering. It's right here. My life is here, and I'll be a living sacrifice.